Hello, students. This is Purushottam Vishwakarma, and I welcome you to this new lesson of class 11th book Snapshots, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. This is part 1. So let's begin with the lesson. First of all, I would like to tell you this is the story of Armenia. This story is set in Armenia. As you can see, the map of Armenia. Armenia lies in Asia. So Armenia is in Asia, in which continent we all are living. In the north of Armenia, there is Georgia. In east, Azerbaijan, west, Turkey, and Iran lies in south direction. So this is the story of Armenia. Total population around 3.1 million, that is 31 lakh. Most important, Armenian people are very honest and trustworthy. Although they are very poor, but honest and trustworthy. About the author, William Sarwan, born on 13 August 1908 and died on 18th May 1981. Armenian American novelist. By origin, he was Armenian and then became American. So, Armenian American novelist, playwright, and short story writer. Most important, he got Pulitzer Prize in 1940 and Academy Award in 1943. So, this is about the author William Sarwan. Now, what is the theme of the lesson? The most important thing in this lesson. Theme of the lesson: honor and trust. This is all about two Armenian boys, Aram and Morad. So, two Armenian boys are here, Aram and Morad. And how do they show their honor, their trust, and what actually happens in the story? Let's see. But before that, I would like to tell you about all the characters in the story. That is most important section. These are main characters. Aram, 9 years old. How old is Aram? 9 years. Belonging to Garglanian family. Garglanian family is very famous, although they are very poor, but honest and trustworthy. So they have the hallmark of honesty and trust. Morad, Morad is the cousin of Aram, belonging to same tribe, Garglanian tribe. Uncle Khusro, there is the third character, Uncle Khusro, the most important and entertaining character. Aram's uncle. He is Aram's uncle, a crazy person, insane person with a powerful head, with very big head and big mustache as well. Next character, John Byro, a farmer, and he belongs to Assyrian tribe. Aram and Morad, Uncle Khusro, all these belong to Garglanian tribe, while John Byro, the farmer, belongs to Assyrian tribe. Usually, Assyrians are rich in comparison of Garglanian. Remaining two more characters, Aram's mother and father, although they are not much important. One more character is also there, Zorab. Zorab is Morad's father. So we have discussed about Aram, 9-year-old boy, Morad, 13-year-old boy, Uncle Khusro, Aram's uncle, John Byro, a farmer, a Syrian farmer, Aram's mother and father, and Jorab, who is the father of Morad. Let's see line by line explanation. One day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream, my cousin Morad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning. One day, Aram, whose words are these? Who is the narrator? Aram. And how old is Aram? 9 years. That 9 years old boy is the narrator of the story, and he is telling us He was lost in imagination, thinking about good old days when he was only 9 years old. He was in the world full of every imaginable kind of magnificence. Magnificence, extremely beautiful. The things were extremely beautiful when he was merely 9 years old. And life was still a delightful and mysterious dream. He compares his life to a mysterious dream. My cousin Maurad, and he tells us what happened that particular day while he was sleeping. He was dreaming that early morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. His cousin Maurad, how old is Maurad? Maurad is 13 years old, who was considered crazy by everybody. Maurad was considered crazy, insane by everybody except Aram. Whoever knew him called him crazy. He was crazy. He was insane by everybody who knew him except me. But I did not think so. Came to my house at 4 in the morning. He came to his house while he was sleeping in his room. He came to his house in the morning at 4 o'clock and woke me up tapping on the window of my room. He tried to wake Aram up by tapping on the window of Aram's room where he was sleeping. Aram, he said, whispering, so that no one could listen his voice except Aram. Aram, he said, a bed and looked out of the window. Aram says he jumped out of his bed, listening the sound, hearing Morad calling his name. He jumped out of bed and looked out of the window. I could not believe what I saw, but the scene he saw was unimaginable. He could not believe his eyes. It wasn't morning yet. Still, it was dark. Early morning, 4 o'clock, it was dark. It wasn't morning yet. But it was summer and with daybreak. It was summertime and with daybreak. Daybreak means dawn time, early morning. Not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know, light enough for him to understand that he was not dreaming. First of all, he thought that he was dreaming after seeing the scene before his eyes, but the light around him suggested him that he was not dreaming. What he saw? My cousin Morad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. What did he see? He saw his cousin Morad. How old is Morad? 13 years old. From which tribe? Gargalanian tribe. They are very poor. Riding a horse, that is a different thing. My cousin Morad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. He saw his cousin Morad was sitting on a beautiful white horse. That was unbelievable because Morad could not afford a horse. So, how this happened? I stuck my head out of the window. I tried to look outside the window by peeping through the window and rubbed my eyes when I saw the scene. When I saw Morad sitting riding on a horse, he rubbed his eyes. Who? Aram rubbed his eyes because he could not believe. Yes, he said in Armenian. Morad said in Armenian language, it's a horse. And I'd like to tell you, in Armenian language, horse is pronounced as Z. D-Z-I. In Armenian, we call Z. To a horse, we call Z. You are not dreaming. He assured me that I was not dreaming. Morad assured Aram that he was not dreaming. It was a real horse. Make it quick if you want to ride. And if you want to ride, make it quick. Come, hurry up if you wanna ride on the horse. I knew my cousin Morad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the world by mistake. Now Aram says he knows his cousin Morad very well. He enjoys being alive. He wants to live in present with full of enjoyment more than anybody else who had ever fallen into the world by mistake. And it seems that he is more alive, more lively than other people. But this was more than even I could believe. But this thing I could not believe. How was it? How could he ride a horse? Because none of us could afford a horse in our entire life. In the first place, he tells us two reasons. What are the two reasons why he could not believe? his eyes. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses, and my first longings had been longings to ride. He was in dilemma, what to do, what not. Should he go out or not? So, at the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses. He tells us what he really liked in his childhood. His yearnings, longings had been longings to ride, aching desire to ride. In his childhood, he liked riding a horse too much. This was the wonderful part. And this part of his life was the wonderful part. The second reason, in the second place, we were poor. Now he was in dilemma what to do. Second place, we were poor. They could not afford a horse. So he was in a situation of dilemma what to do, what not. He could not believe himself. This was the part that would not permit me to believe what I saw. This was the part. This was the situation when he could not believe. That situation did not allow him to believe what he saw. A member of Garglanian family could not afford a horse. So how was it possible? We were poor. Now he tells us more about his Garglanian tribe. We were we were poor, we had no money. Our whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch of the Garglanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. So he is telling us, Aram is telling us that they were very poor, they had no money. Their whole tribe was poverty stricken. They were suppressed by this evil which is known as poverty. Every branch of the Garglanian family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. In a funny situation, they were living in a funny situation. Why? Even though they were very poor, but no one could believe themselves that they could steal anything. So they have the power, the hallmark of honesty and trust. Nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies. No one could understand. It was a very interesting fact that no one could know where from they got their food and satisfied their bellies, their stomachs. Not even the old men of the family. This fact was such a fact that could not be found out by old men of the family. Even they did not know about this. Most important of all, though we were famous for our honesty, now he tells us, most important of all, above all, they were very famous for their honesty. We had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries. He tells us that they had been famous for their honesty for 1100 years, and they did not leave their honesty even when they were very rich, even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we like to think was the world. So they were attached to honesty even when they were very rich. We were proud first. They were proud first. They were proud of their honesty, their tribe. Honest next. They were honest. First of all, they were proud of their tribe. Then honest next. Next thing they had was honesty. And after that, we believed in right or wrong. Then after they thought anything else like right and wrong. First of all, they were proud and then honest. And then after they thought about right and wrong, whatever is right or wrong. None of us would take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. So it could not be expected by any of us, any of the Garglanian family member, that he could take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. So there was no chance of stealing. What kind of stealing we are going to talk about? Morat could not afford a horse. They had no money, they were very poor. So where did he get that horse from? Surely he had stolen the horse. Consequently, means as a result, even though I could see the horse so magnificent, as a result, the horse was before his eyes. Even though I could see the horse, Aram could see the horse so magnificent. How was the horse? Magnificent. Even though I could smell it, how was the horse in his sight? Magnificent. In his smell, lovely. even though I could hear it breathing. And in his hearing, he could hear the horse breathing. So exciting. And the breathing of the horse was very exciting for him. I couldn't believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Morad or with me or with any of the other members of our family. I have been regularly telling you they are very poor, so they are unable to afford, they could not afford a horse in their life. Asleep or awake, whether they are dreaming or alive, means whether they are sleeping or waking. It's very easy to have anything in dream. Because I knew my cousin Morad could not have bought the horse. I knew very well Morad could not have bought the horse because he had no money. And if he could not have bought, he must have stolen it. So there was a strong possibility that he must have stolen it. And I refused to believe he had stolen it. But I refused to believe. No one could believe a Garglanian family member to steal. No member of the Garglanian family could be a thief because there is the hallmark with them of trust and honor. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse. Aram said he stared first of all at his cousin. Who is the cousin? Morad, and then at the horse. There was a pious, holy, religious stillness, and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and on the other frightened me. There was a pious stillness. He saw a pious stillness over there. Pious, holy, religious, in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me. He was delighted on the one hand, while on the other hand he was frightened. At first he was delighted to see the horse and frightened because he thought Morad had stolen the horse. Now he said to Morad, Morad, where did you steal this horse? Morad did not reply either in positive or in negative way. He did not say yes or no. Except that, what did he say? Leap out of the window. He said, if you want to ride, if you wanna ride, leap out of the window. Let's go. It was true then. So he was right then. He had stolen the horse. It was obvious. Aram understood clearly he had stolen the horse because he was not replying either in positive or in negative way. There was no question about it. So Aram was assured. So no questions, no more questions about stealing of the horse. He had come to invite me to ride or not. Who had come? Maurad had come there to invite Aram whether he wanted to ride or whether he wanted to ride or not, as I choose, and it was on my choice. Surely, I would like to ride a horse. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else. Now, he tries to justify that stealing a horse for riding purpose only is not stealing, as compared to money. For all I knew, maybe it wasn't stealing at all. According to him, whatever he knew, it was not stealing at all. No one can say it is stealing. Taking a horse for riding purpose and keeping with you is not stealing until you offer to sell it to someone else. If you are crazy about horses the way my cousin Morad and I were, it wasn't stealing. So if you are crazy about anything you have taken from someone else, that is not stealing according to Aram. It wouldn't become stealing until we offer to sell the horse. According to him, it wouldn't become stealing until they offer to sell the horse. What he wants to tell? He wants to say that if you have taken a horse from someone, enjoying the riding, keeping the horse with you, but not selling to someone else, it is not stealing. Which, of course, I knew we would never do. He justifies that they were not going to sell the horse, so they were not the convict. They had done nothing as guilt, crime. Let me put on some clothes, I said. Aram said to Morad, let me put on some clothes. Let he wear some clothes. All right, he said, but hurry. So Morad replied, okay, okay, but hurry up. We don't have much time. The sun is coming out. I leaped into my clothes. Hurriedly, he wore his clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window, and through the window, he jumped to the yard and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Morad and climbed up the horse behind his cousin Morad. That year we lived at the edge of town on Walnut Avenue. Now he tells us where did they live that year. That year they lived at the edge of town, at the border of the town. Where? On the Walnut Avenue. Behind our house was the country, and just behind their house was the countryside. Countryside means village. Vineyards. There were vineyards, grape yards, orchards, small orchards with plants, irrigation ditches, man-made canals for irrigation purpose, and country roads. Country road means village roads. In less than 3 minutes, we were on Olive Avenue. So in next 3 minutes from Walnut Avenue, we reached Olive Avenue, and then the horse began to trot. Then the horse started proceeding. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The air which we felt was new and lovely to breathe. Early morning air is soothing. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. For the first time, I was riding the horse, and feeling it was very wonderful. My cousin Morad, who was considering one of the craziest member of our family, my cousin Morad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. He started singing while riding the horse. I mean, he began to roar because his voice was not melodious. So he started roaring. Every family has a crazy streak race. Every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere. He is trying to tell us that, like other families in the world, every family has a crazy streak. There is a person, a special person in the family, in the race. In it somewhere, and my cousin Morad was considered the natural descendant. Natural descendant means he was the natural descendant of Uncle Khusro. All the qualities of Uncle Khusro were there in Morad. So, a system that develops from an earlier simple version. What is the first version? Uncle Khusro, and next version is Morad of the crazy streak in our tribe. So, he is the descendant, natural descendant of Uncle Khusro, who is supposed to be crazy. Before him was our Uncle Khusro, as he tells us, before him. So, this line goes on, this inheritance goes on. Before him, there is Uncle Khosrow. How does he look like? An enormous man with a powerful head of black hair. He is enormous, a very huge man with a powerful head, black hair, and the largest mustache in the San Joaquin Valley. In the entire valley, no one had such large mustaches. So, San Joaquin Valley, one of the long interior valleys of California, a man so furious in temper. He was a man so furious in temper, always angry, so irritable, gets irritated easily, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring. And he had a punch line, very important, you have to remember it. It is no harm, pay no attention to it. Every time, whenever he is talking with any person, talking to anybody, he speaks this line. It is no harm, pay no attention to it. So, this first part ends now. Thanks for watching. Have a nice